Hey everybody, this is Steve Moore, owner of Run More, this beautiful brick and mortar running shop located in Westminster, Maryland. We're recording this video on Small Business Saturday, so real quick, if you are somebody who supports us here locally in Maryland or online, thank you so much for helping us keep this beautiful business afloat. And if you want to, give us a like and subscribe here on YouTube. It really helps us find new people. I kind of wanted to make mention of when we were recording this because if you are a fan of the Brooks Adrenaline or just sort of aware of when new shoes are coming out, this shoe is actually technically due out in October of this year. Things have been pushed around so much with all the supply chain issues. Pretty much across all the brands we have, things have been jostled around for release dates or color ups or just stock in general. It's been a really weird, challenging fall here for retailers like myself, just getting our hands on product. And as you can imagine, as shoes are being delayed, a lot of brands are running out of the old version. So we've been in this limbo of stuff's not out, but we can't even get the old stuff. So the Brooks Adrenaline 22, we were really excited to get this shoe. And again, we're recording this end of November. We don't even have the women's shoe yet. This shoe is due out in October, and we now have the men's shoe. This will be coming out on December 1st of 2021. The women's shoe at this point looks like it'll be very early January. So I'm going to talk about the differences between the shoes, but unfortunately, I'm not going to have a female shoe to hold because they're not out yet. This really, of all the shoes that I carry here, I have a lot of fun, cool brands out there and brands that I like and brands that I run in. It's really exciting when people come in to talk about some of the different shoe brands out there, but at the end of the day, we sell more Brooks Adrenalines than anything else out there. It is sort of that Swiss Army knife of shoes. There's really not a whole lot of applications that you can't use this shoe for, and there's not a lot of arch profiles that you really can't pull this shoe for. So what I mean is, this shoe is a mid-cushion stability shoe. So this shoe is great for somebody who has any type of pronation issues, somebody who goes to the inside or somebody who goes to the outside. This shoe is designed to help you. It's helping you by these guide rails that are set up. So if you look on the inside of this shoe, you can see there's just this little piece of plastic that's sitting there that's designed to kind of hold and cradle your foot if you're rolling to the inside. Conversely, on the outside, there's another little bumper here that's designed to keep you from rolling from this side to the outside. So whether you're somebody who rolls in or somebody who rolls out, this shoe is going to try to guide you and keep you right smack in the middle, take pressures off the hips, the knees, the ankles, keeping all your momentum going forward. And I say, when you watch people, when you watch them walk or run, if you're seeing too much side to side, even if you're not complaining of any injuries, and I have this conversation with customers quite frequently, where they really feel comfortable more in a neutral shoe, even though they know that they might go this way or that way, and nothing's bothering them, and that's totally fine. But I always say that any momentum that's carrying you one way or the other is just sort of wasted energy. If we can kind of keep everything going down the middle, it's going to just help you be more of an efficient runner or walker anyway. So you might as well kind of keep all that momentum straight down the middle, even if you have no real injury stuff that's bugging you. The nice thing with the holistic guide rails, and that's what they call it, is they're holistic guide rails, is that it's only there if you need it. So I use the term in here a lot, stability when stability is needed. So what that means to me is if you're somebody who just runs straight neutral and you never have any side-to-side issues, you can still wear this shoe because it's not doing anything unless you need it. Old versions of the Adrenaline, basically anything from version 19 to older, it only had posting. It only had that support on the inside. And the way that they used to do it was all the way down into the lower part of the midsole. So no matter what you were doing, it was always trying to force you out. No matter what you were doing, the piece that was more stable went all the way through the bottom and up towards the top here. So it was constantly pushing you to the outside. So really, if you were somebody who didn't need it, what you would find is that you were rolling to the outside more. So if you were a neutral candidate person, putting on a shoe with extra arch support, it's going to force you more to a supination side. So people would come in and you'd see a lot of lateral wear on their shoe and they were wearing a shoe like the older version of the Adrenaline. We would say that you're probably overcorrecting yourself and you're wearing a stable shoe when you don't need it. And that can cause its own set of problems. If you're going to the outside, you're wearing this side, you can get that ankle pain on the outside of your foot, IT band syndrome, hip pain. A lot of that stuff is from overcorrection. And that really goes across on all the shoes that we carry. If you're looking at a shoe that has just medial support and you find yourself going to the outside, you can overcorrect yourself. So you might want something more neutral. But because this shoe has that independent suspension on both sides, it's really designed, no matter which way you're going, to keep you in the middle, there's not a reason why you couldn't pull this shoe. And what we find a lot of people, especially new runners out there, if they're running nice and neutral for shorter stuff, if you're looking to increase your miles, a lot of times you may favor sides. Your form might not be perfect yet. You may not have some of those secondary muscles built up to kind of help keep you nice through the middle there. So by having a shoe with just these little guide rails, it's just going to help keep you straight and narrow as you're running down there. So by saying this is sort of that Swiss Army knife of shoes, there again, not a whole lot of reason you couldn't pull this shoe. So now let's get into, I'm going to hold up another color here if you don't mind. Wapa. To get into sort of some of the nuts and bolts of this shoe. This shoe, again, is a mid-cushion stability shoe. The heel-to-toe offset is 12 millimeters, so that is basically how high your heel is to your toe. You know, a lot of the brands that we have there have lower heel-to-toe drops. Compared to other stuff that's out there, this is really a high heel-to-toe drop. But still, it feels somewhat familiar. If you're new to running or new to like a really good running shoe, it sounds really high, and if it's on the high end of the spectrum, it might seem like it's too much. But it really is sort of in line with what a lot of people use for a casual shoe. If you've just been sort of wearing a knock-around ASICS shoe or just an everyday casual athletic shoe, it still has a pretty high heel-to-toe drop. So putting on a shoe that has a high heel-to-toe offset feels somewhat familiar, and it's not as hard a transition into putting in something that has maybe a zero drop, or maybe that has like a Meta Rocker platform that's going to roll you heel to toe. It has that traditional feel to it, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. It just makes you feel more like home when you're putting it on, if that makes any sense. And the nice thing too is that because it does have that familiar feel to it, when people come in here and they say, like, I'm buying a shoe for a loved one, or I'm running in, I'm new to running, I can't do the full gait analysis, I can't try on a bunch of stuff, what's the one shoe that you would recommend? And again, having all these options here, sometimes you really want to kind of reinvent the wheel, but by pulling a true shoe like this where it feels familiar, it has the stability, it's not too heavy, it's not too light, it's the shoe that I pull more for anybody else when they say, just give me a new good running shoe, it's this one. And because it is so popular from Brooks, I'm going to do another swap here, it comes in a variety of colors and a variety of widths. We've got 3 different colors that we're going to be carrying here when it comes out, and they all look pretty good compared to the old ones. Just a real quick flashback. Here's what the 21 looks like, and here's what the 22 looks like. It has a bunch of colors and a bunch of widths. So not all Brooks shoes come in a full run of widths, but for the men's shoes, this shoe comes in a narrow, and it goes all the way to a 4E. Some of the other models only go up to like a 2E on the wide, but this is going to be available from narrow all the way to 4E. And same on the female side, it goes from a narrow all the way up to a 2E. Again, not a lot of wide shoes on the female will go full 2E, but this one will be that option. And because it is sort of that Swiss Army knife that I mentioned, there are versions of this shoe that are lighter and that are heavier. So depending on what you're looking for, we call this like your mile to a marathon. You can do a little bit of everything in that. And then even including gym work. If you're somebody who's looking for a casual shoe to go do cardio at the gym or lift weights in or whatever you may need to do, this shoe is great for that. And because it has those guide rails, it's great for doing side-to-side work as well. You can do a little bit of everything in it. But if you're looking for something a little bit lighter, you have an option. And the way that you can tell on the Brooks family, if you're looking for something that has that same guide rail structure, is that term GTS. A lot of the Brooks shoes in the last 2 years have been renamed, and you'll see the word GTS popping up on a lot of the end of shoes. So this is the Adrenaline GTS, which stands for Go To Stability. So if you're looking for shoes like that, you'll see Brooks shoes like the Launch GTS, the Glycerin GTS, the Levitate GTS. Those are all variations of this platform, which was the first shoe in the Brooks family that had these guide rails. So you can see that this whole idea of the guide rails has really worked for Brooks, and we see it here in our store. We've seen other brands that have sort of adopted this idea of having a more guide rail support to it and not just medial posting. So they took that Go To Stability moniker and they rebranded most of their stability shoes, just so you know the difference between one or the other. And what they've done is by having like a neutral version, say a Launch GTS, and a Launch, you can see that there's 2 different variations. Technically, this would be the Ghost GTS, but it's the Adrenaline GTS. And I say that because the companion shoe to the Adrenaline is the Ghost. So that is your mid-cushion neutral shoe if you're somebody who likes the idea of this shoe as far as the weight and the height and all of that, but you don't want the stability of it. The companion shoe is the Ghost. And those are really the 2 biggest shoes that Brooks carries across the board. They got a million different shoes out there, but your Ghost for neutral, your Adrenaline for GTS, and again, even in our shop, the Ghost, while it doesn't sell as much as the Adrenaline, it's still one of the most popular shoes. It's still a shoe that people come in and say, my friend said to try the Ghost. But we particularly pull this shoe, even when people are looking for a Ghost, I do it all the time. I'm just looking for a Ghost. We should also try the Adrenaline. Because it has just that little bit of structure there, it just makes you feel nice and safe when you're running to it. And I did mention this shoe, sort of that mile to a marathon. There's not a whole lot of things and distances you can't do in this shoe. It is a little bit more of a flexible upper. They did have a little bit more of their 3D print upper to it to make it feel a little bit more wider in spots. But from where we've been from the last version, it's not a crazy bit of difference. It's just a nice, great all-around shoe that you can do a little bit of everything in. For a neutral runner, it's fine. For a stable runner, it's great. For a walking shoe, for a gym shoe, the Brooks Adrenaline 22, it's a fantastic option out there. And again, because it comes in so many widths, you have a lot of options out there from color and to make sure it fit and feels perfect for you. If you have any questions on the Brooks Adrenaline 22, feel free to leave it down below. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. And if you're looking to pick up this new guy, click our link down below, use our promo code RUNMORE, just one word, and you'll save 10% and we'll ship it out for free. As I mentioned, there's so many things that are changing with deliveries and when we're expecting new product. Just check on our website periodically and you'll see new colors pop up as Brooks has them available. And soon enough, we'll have the female version of this available on our website as well. Thank you so much for supporting our shop and our channel, and I hope you guys have a great winter running out there. Stay safe, and we'll see you around town. Thanks.